Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of Mods, Tools, and Add-ons from Microsoft Flight Simulator. We haven't done one of these in quite a while, and I figured that I would share with you guys a few really awesome tools that currently exist for both simulators. Some of them require a bit more skill than others, but I figured they were worth sharing regardless, so stick around. If you are interested in any of my tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. Alright folks, so starting right out with migrate FS 2020 controller configs to FS 2024. I'm going to start right out of the bat that this one does require a bit of understanding of Python, which is a coding language for many who may not understand that. However, again, you can continue to do this. You can execute this even with minimal knowledge. You just have to follow the instructions very, very carefully and understand that yes, there are some risks involved. The idea behind this particular piece of coding is to allow the almost seamless migration of controller inputs, meaning that everything from the keyboard into inputs to your actual hardware inputs that you are already used to that exists in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, those same key bindings are sort of migrated over to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. An example for Let's start there. In 2024, in order to go to the external view, like the drone view, it's the backspace, if I remember correctly, by default. Where in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, you use insert for the drone view and then end for the external with the HUD view, right? So if you wanted to keep them the same across the line and go back to the 2020 scheme, that's what I was really digging after, was just those simple key commands that I liked where they were. Another example, the altimeter. Okay, setting your default altimeter if you didn't want to sit there and wind it. It is the B key for Bravo on 2020, and I don't even remember what the hell it is for 2024 because I hated it. But again, so it's things like that this tool is very, very powerful for and very, very useful. Again, it requires a bit of understanding for what's going on. There are YouTube videos on it. I'm going to be doing a full YouTube tutorial video on this because I think it is absolutely worth it after running through it myself. Very, very good tool. Very, very powerful. And it solved so many of the things that used to piss me off. I'm just going to call it as it is. So anyway, this is Migrate FS 2020 controller configs to FS 2024. A link to this and all the other mods, tools, add-ons will be down in the description, of course. So stay tuned for more on that. All right, so next up on the list, we have Flight Sim Server. This is essentially another remote tool access. The big one that flashes for me is GSX. It gives you the ability to operate GSX from a remote point. Okay, literally a web browser, anything that can support a web browser that's on the same Wi-Fi network that the rest of your equipment is on is what this will do. So very, very powerful tool, but it does far more than that. So make sure that you guys take some time to really read through everything and see the capabilities of what this program does. It does a lot, integrates far beyond just GSX. You have GSX remote control, electronic checklist, flight informations regarding SimBrief. Now I use other things for that. I primarily run Navigraph on my iPad. So I have all of the access to that myself, but that doesn't mean that this doesn't have significant use for many other people. But again, for me, the big red herring here is GSX. GSX, having that remote access to it and being able to run it as I wish from whatever device I wish really, really enhances the experience for me because I don't have to worry about popping up any screens. For me, especially as a content creator, it's a really big immersion killer for me when I'm trying to do these recordings and trying to keep things more simple and trying to keep things to just radio communication. So this really offers a lot in that aspect. So again, another very cool tool, very, very easy to use. They really did a fantastic job with this one. It's really, really nice, you guys. But again, has quite a few different uses, but the big fire is GSX. They really, really knocked that one out of the park. Follow the full changelog if you guys want to see how this program has developed over time. And you guys can see that only a few days ago it was updated, so it is still actively being worked, which is always a good sign to see things like that. If you are looking for a well-performing and affordable head and eye tracking solution that works with both webcams and cell phones, then BeamEye Tracker is the software for you. BeamEye Tracker boasts a very simple setup and a very large list of customization options that make setting the both eye and head tracking to your desire. The eye tracking makes it very easy to glance down at gauges or look up at mirrors or maybe look over at your wingman when flying in formation, while being able to customize the head tracking to be able to turn your head as far as you wish and possibly be looking behind you at the same time. BeamEye Tracker currently supports over 200 games and simulators natively and a vast larger amount in conjunction with the freeware software OpenTrack. BeamEye Tracker can be purchased on either Steam or on their website for only $30 US, making it one heck of a bang for your buck. They also offer a free demo on Steam if you wish to try it before you buy it. Pick up your copy of BeamEye Tracker using the link down in the description below. Here is another tool bringing a little bit of ease that, quite frankly, end users should never have had to create, but you know, when you got Microsoft backing something, it's almost a guarantee that it's going to be a pain in the backside. So here we have FS24 User Config Editor. This was edited 10 days ago, so again, still being adopted and updated. The FS24 Config Editor allows you to change a varying of settings, everything from VR settings to your in-game graphic settings on the fly, while creating also backups following those kind of procedures to make sure that you're protected in the future use. Now, this does show only for SU2 beta, but again, I have done this on SU3 beta and haven't had any problems with it. And again, it was just updated a few days back. But it gives you a ton of options that you don't have to worry about diving into the stupid settings menu within inside of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. We've all talked about it 1,000 times into probably oblivion at this point on how much of a pain the UI is in 2024. So you guys, here is a full list of the breakdown of everything that this thing is capable of doing, and it is, again, quite extensive. You can even export your profiles, which I know probably for most isn't a huge deal, but if you're someone who's constantly tweaking settings, adjusting things, or wanting to switch things on the fly like yours truly is, when it comes to new VR headsets, swapping between VR headsets, new mods, new add-ons, new tools, this comes in really, really handy. Because the beautiful part about being able to export your settings is if you go and change it. Let's say you want to start clean, fresh, so you want to change a bunch of things, then you decide, nope, this isn't it, and you've changed so many things that you're just sort of like, oh man, why can't I just get it back to the way it was? This tool will allow you to do that because it's able to export all of your settings, which means you can re-import them at a later time, so you can always fall back to what that setting was that you know was working absolutely beautiful for you. So again, this is a really handy tool. It may not be something that you use constantly, but I promise it's one that you're going to be happy to have in the bank. I really enjoy having this one. I've been using it ever since they did their first release, and it works flawless for me every time so far. I haven't had any issue with it, even when I did use it on SU3 beta before that was even supported, quote unquote, even though it's not officially, right? Anyway, moving on. This next one is a silly one, but one that I legitimately struggle with. And it's called Greg's Call Sign Generator. It's a simple utility application that allows you to create call signs for your aircraft based on whether you're not using IVAO or VATSIM. But essentially, it's really in case that you're like me and you can't ever think of a cool call sign or a call sign that would be legitimate. It lets you break down the different, how many numbers do you want in it? How many, what sequence do you want it in? And I really like, again, it's simple. There's not much to talk about here. It creates a call sign, a tail number for you. And I like it because I can't ever think of a really good one, right? And when I fly new aircraft, that's why I almost never use call signs. It's because I can't ever think of one that would be legit. I don't know why. I'm just an idiot. I don't know. And I'm not saying that everyone who's in the same situation is an idiot. I just know that I am. So anyways, very, very simple tool. Fun tool to have again in your tool bag. Obviously, it takes 2.5 seconds. Boom, you've got a call sign, especially as you're switching aircraft. Keeps it simple, and it works for both, obviously, Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024, as it's only generating a call sign. Has no direct integration with the sim itself. So, there you guys go. I hope that you guys are just like me and go, hell yeah. Finally, the last one is my favorite, but this one has a catch that I'm going to get out of the door right now. You must have X's and O's, specifically X's and O's, which you can, I believe, pick up from Just Flight if memory serves, or you can just Google X's and O's purchase. I can't remember where all you can get it from, but anyway, I purchased this. I've had it for a while. But this is the kicker. Beyond ATC remote control for a tablet. Remember, I was just talking about the necessity for me and really liking having that third party. This is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. It works gorgeously. It's beyond ATC. And for you guys who may not be watching my channel very often, or maybe you're new to it, I am a huge proponent of Beyond ATC. I was the first one that I'm aware of to ever make content on it. And I have followed them all the way through to what it is today. Fantastic application, a great training tool in my opinion, especially if you're someone who's very, very new to it, very, very uneasy about the idea of talking to air traffic control. This is a fantastic tool. The beautiful part about this is, again, is it allows you to control everything from Beyond ATC directly on your tablet, or as you can see here, this is very much so looking like an iPhone. Actually, that kind of looks like an Android based on that battery icon up there. Anyway, I digress. But you guys can see what it does. Just basically makes it into a web browser. Beyond ATC, you can control absolutely everything directly from the application itself, meaning that you can I did not mean to do that. You can literally click on a frequency and have it swap the frequency. You can have it automatically change the frequency. You can do wind checks, radio checks, or you can literally voice to speak and do all that stuff yourself. But what's really awesome is you guys can see up here that you can also get the radio commands as a readout. Now, obviously, that's not going to be true to life, but if you're in that stage where you're sort of really getting used to listening to ATC and trying to, process it, and, especially in flight simulation where things get a little bit different because you don't have all of your buttons controls always easily at access, so there's a lot of mouse and keyboard still involved. You're able to still use your tablet, iPhone, whatever it may be, to go back and read back whatever the last command was. So that is the one big thing. Now, and I will admit, I've been pushing for Beyond ATC to create some sort of web access for this thing for a long time, and this developer was kind enough to develop that for themselves. Now, again, the big kicker here is that you have to have X's and O's in order for this to work. All right, my friends, well, that is going to wrap up today's episode of Mods, Tools, and Add-ons. As always, guys, if you guys like these videos, please let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It certainly does help me battle that damn YouTube algorithm. And as always, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you guys in the next one.